Okay, I know I promised an update. I wanted to discuss with the group potential COVID-19 related challenges which have led us to considering a postponement of the Walker Church History Tour. Really, it revolves around a lot of unknowns. Our plan is to still go forward with the tour. Let me start with that. But I want to make sure that you understand why we're even considering it. The bus industry's been hit hard by COVID-19. 56 people in a moving box just doesn't work with social distancing. And we don't know if there will be a locally accessible bus company capable of handling a 6 to 8 bus cross-country tour by June of 2022. A stable company is a must, and they are hard to find. We have used 4 different companies for each of the last 4 tours. Demand drives that industry, and how much the demand will rebound after COVID-19 is an unknown variable. Uncertainty regarding how to move this many kids from point A to points B through Z affects every aspect of the planning of the tour. For instance, the tour company that we used this last time, they are currently running still, but they're running their buses at 50% capacity. And so rather than a 6 to 8 bus tour, you're talking a 12 to 16 bus tour, and the costs involved skyrocket. Then there is some uncertainty regarding 2 key hotels. We utilize established national chains for all of our stops on the tour, with the exception of Palmyra and Nauvoo. Now, Palmyra is accessible from Buffalo, New York, so it's less problematic than Nauvoo, which is literally in the middle of nowhere, USA. The hotel we like in Palmyra has been purchased by Best Western, and hopefully we'll be able to make a similar arrangement with them as we have in the past. The Nauvoo Family Inn is another story. It's literally the only show in town, and it's struggled to stay open for the last decade. Both of these hotels have historically booked up very quickly, assuming they will still be operating, and then we have to book them 18 months in advance of the tour. The entire itinerary revolves around these 2 major stops, and in order to commit with cash deposits to them 18 months out, we have to be sure we have transportation to get us there. For the tour to happen in June of 2020, we need to know by this coming January that we have enough committed interest from our potential participants, and that we'll be able to find a stable bus company. The interest levels seem to be high. So for some context as to the commitment levels that we need in order to operate the tour at the prices we charge, we need to take 300 to 400 youth. That's 6 to 8 buses. That is the proverbial sweet spot to have sufficient contingency funds on hand to handle inevitable emergencies and other variables that arise during the tour. For instance, a sharp rise in fuel prices last tour required a significant additional payment to the bus company just right before we departed. Less than 300 to 400 youth increases the price per participant significantly in light of the needed contingency fund margins, which last tour were very slim. So though 2020 still seems to be a long way away, the decision to commit and expend initial deposits for a tour in June of 2022 must be made 6 months or less from now. Another unknown is we do not presently know if there will be any additional restrictions for overland mass carriers in the wake of COVID-19. Even a requirement that buses may only operate at, say, 80% capacity would potentially make the tour cost prohibitive if we had to add additional buses to make sure we could still make the 300 to 400 participant level that we need. The same goes for any hotel occupancy restrictions that may be put in place long term. If we can't continue to have participants sleep 4 to a room, the price of the tour could literally double and require us to spread our participants between multiple hotels per our nightly stop. Also, the school year schedule for 2022 is another unknown. It shouldn't affect us much unless the Clark County School District goes to a year-round schedule, which is currently on the table, or at least was until recently. It's not likely. From what I've seen coming out now, it looks like it's a regular school year, so that shouldn't affect us much. There are also other unknowns, but this list that I've been giving you right now are the major unknowns. The other component that we're considering is the economics of the tour. Often we have families sending more than one participant on the tour, and the expected price per participant for this tour is $1,500. This represents a $250 increase from our last tour. We had to increase the price because of how narrow the margins were last time. We can't get stuck in a situation where we don't have enough money to cover everything. Though our tour is significantly less expensive than other tours because we are volunteers and our tour is not designed to make a profit. We don't pay our tour directors. We don't pay our chaperones. $1,500 is still a significant expenditure. In these current strange economic times, we're very sensitive to the fact that many of our participants' families may have recently suffered employment or other setbacks due to COVID-19 shutdowns, and we don't want to unnecessarily burden them. Additionally, as the directors, Rebecca and I are signing all the contracts, and we are ultimately potentially liable for any losses suffered by the tour. So that's a big economic concern for us as the tour directors. All that being said, we believe the benefits of this tour to its participants far outweigh the risks, and we fully intend to go forward as planned in June 2022, if at all possible. And we certainly plan to continue taking this tour every 4 years for as long as we are able. To that end, in the coming months, we will continue to post updates and seek input from potential participants in order to aid us in making our final decision regarding potential postponement. Thank you for your anticipated input and understanding. I hope this clarifies a little bit more why we're even considering a postponement of the tour. Thanks.